Jerusalem is a city that has been destroyed twice, besieged 23 times, recaptured 44 times, attacked 52 times. This is a city where history is embedded in the stones on its streets. A city that has been a flashpoint for way too long. So what better place than this to tell the story of this war? Hello and welcome to Vantage Weekend Edition. I'm Palki Sharma. The war has gone on for a week. The death toll is rising. There's death, devastation, and reporting a war is never an easy task. This one was particularly difficult, but we hope to have brought you the full story, and we continue to do so. This is our Israel War Diary. Let's get started. Speaking of plan, it is clear that Hamas had one. When the terrorists struck Israel in a shock attack this weekend, part of their plan was one city, Sderot. This is a city in southern Israel. It is one of the first and the worst hit. We went there today at the scene of where fierce fighting took place. As we speak, Israeli forces have regained control of the city. They're trying to sanitize it, but it still remains a war zone. There were rocket attacks from Gaza while we were there, and many areas are still out of bounds for people. Here's a report.
It's a lazy Saturday in Israel, the Jewish holiday of Sabbath. But down here in Sderot, things are about to take a terrible turn. Here it is on the map, just adjacent to northern Gaza. Distance about 10 kilometers. The edges of this city are just under 3,000 feet from Gaza. Sderot is among the frontline cities in Israel, and on Saturday it was a target. Hamas terrorists poured into the city. They killed civilians and took over government buildings. It's been 4 days since that attack. The Firstpost team visited Sderot to see what remains of the city. We found bullet marks and gutted cars.
This is the shopping center of Sderot. You can hear military helicopters buzzing overhead. There is intermittent sound of bombs and rockets going off. And this is where one of the rockets fell. This is what remains of a car. Metal and glass splintered everywhere around this, including on this other vehicle that also bore the brunt of this attack from Hamas terrorists. This happened a couple of days back. This is a town of some 30,000 people, and it has seen more than 100 rocket attacks from Gaza, just a few kilometers away from Gaza.
You can see in the background their bodies. I went out, I saw loads of bodies of terrorists, civilians, cars shot up, sea of bodies inside Sderot. Along the road, other places, loads of bodies. It is sad, it is tragic.
As news of the attack spread, Israel responded. Their army was dispatched to the country's south, and they came here too, to Sderot. A fierce and grueling gunfight followed. Israel recaptured the city, but not without losing its own citizens.
We will exact a very heavy price from Hamas, who will pay for what they did, and this action will be remembered in Gaza for the next 50 years. And they will regret that they started this, and we are responsible for it.
At the center of the siege was this building, at least what remains of it, the police station of Sderot.
This was one of the first sites of the attack by Hamas terrorists. This happened on Saturday morning. They came in and they started indiscriminate fire. On the way here, we saw bullet marks at various places. There was a lot of firing. And then what you see behind me, what is being destroyed and razed to the ground, used to be the main police station of this town. And this was the site of an intense gun battle that lasted some 20 hours. It was a very, very long operation. And the Israeli forces indulged or had to fight a fierce gun battle. A tank was brought to the scene, and there were 10 Hamas terrorists who were cooped up inside, who were fighting from inside, and they've all been neutralized. And now this police station is being razed to the ground. This entire town looks deserted. Most of the people have left here. On the way here, we saw virtually nobody on the streets except for security officials, very heavily armed military officials and soldiers patrolling the streets. We also saw some rocket firing happening on the way here, and we were all told to duck for cover. So this remains a very, very tense scene, although Israeli forces say that they have taken complete control of the situation. They're still trying to sanitize this area.
The buildings can be mowed down and rebuilt, but the scars, they may take years to heal. And that's what our team learnt here in Sderot. Amid these checkpoints, charred vehicles and piled up bodies, there's no time to ponder through. Because our return journey to Tel Aviv taught us a very important lesson. The next Sderot could be anywhere.
We were on our way to Tel Aviv, and as you can see, sirens sounding, and we got an alert on the radio and on our phones, warning of a rocket attack, and the sirens have gone off. They're ringing loud in Ashdod, in Tel Aviv and other places, and people have pulled over their cars. You can see a long line of vehicles along this road, and everyone in these cars has gotten off, and they're all taking shelter. As you can see, it's a very tense situation. On the way to Tel Aviv, we've seen red alert in various places, including in Ashkelon and other places in southern Israel. So while the Israeli military says that the situation is completely, that they have taken control of the territory, it still remains a very, very sensitive zone. The streets of Tel Aviv wear a deserted look. The normally bustling city has been quiet since Saturday. That's because rockets from Gaza reached here, and it's not over yet. Every once in a while you hear an explosion nearby. Air raid sirens start ringing. People rush to take shelter. It's become a way of life, and for Israel, it's not really a new story. This is arguably the global capital of bomb shelters. The government mandates the construction of such safe havens across the country. Israel spends a lot of money on building shelters and bunkers. They're placed strategically so that people have quick access to them, because the difference between life and death here can be a few seconds. Earlier today, we went to one of these bunkers in Tel Aviv, and here's what we found.
Since Saturday, Israel has been a war zone. Sirens sound regularly across most cities. The alarms are a signal. They tell people to get off the streets and take refuge in shelters like this one.
If you're, for instance, in a border village, then you have 15 seconds to rush to a shelter and to go to safety. If you're in Jerusalem, which is away from the border, then you have 1 minute and 42 seconds. So this is how they've mapped the entire country and people's access to shelters like these.
Residential, communal and institutional shelters can differ quite a bit. Every residence must have a shelter or security room. They usually have reinforced concrete walls and ceilings. The floors should be 20 to 30 centimeters thick. The doors made of steel. Windows, if any, should be shatterproof. The safe rooms are to protect against a variety of assaults: rockets, shrapnel, gunfire, and even chemical attacks. Even the smaller residential shelters should be able to withstand all of these attacks. However, communal and institutional shelters are usually better for defense. That's why many people have chosen to live in the bigger shelters since Saturday.
We're staying here in shelter for a few days from Saturday, and we're sleeping here with the kids. The family is here. We're all in a big anxiety, so we're staying here and hoping for the best.
The communal and institutional shelters are also located at key junctions, places where people can get to within seconds. The public shelters are better equipped than the residential ones. The goal of a residential shelter is to weather out a small, sudden attack. They aren't meant for long-term refuge. Many don't have toilets and rations are limited. Communal and institutional shelters are more suited for longer sanctuary.
This one is a public shelter. It is very well equipped, as you can see. There is proper air conditioning. This is a big AC. This is some equipment that we are told that purifies the air in the event of a chemical attack. And if too many people are gathered here, the capacity of this shelter, we're told, is 200 people. So when all these people are here underground, then you need air purification, and they have a mechanism for that. They also have a Wi-Fi installed here, and emergency lights, so all the basic necessities taken care of, and this is the second floor of the shelter. Above this, you have public utilities, you have washrooms, so people can come here, and this is a residential area. This is underneath a school, we understand. So a lot of people living here. This is in central Tel Aviv, and shelters like these, at least 240 such shelters have been built in this city alone.
The 240 shelters in Tel Aviv have seen high footfalls this week. They've also seen a spirit of defiance and of hope.
One of the biggest challenges for Israel right now is ensuring the safety of hostages. Hamas has taken some 100 Israeli citizens and some foreigners. It's a harrowing time for their families. They're putting pressure on the government to ensure their release. And Hamas knows this. They're releasing videos on social media, videos that show Israelis in captivity. We've been talking to many such families who are awaiting news of their loved ones. Needless to say, they're in shock, unable to articulate their anguish. Here's what they told us.
This is Moran. She is an Israeli woman, an animal lover. She designs jewelry. For weeks, she was looking forward to the Supernova Festival, the music festival held in southern Israel last Saturday. She was excited to attend it, and she was setting up her jewelry store there. Her family was proud, but on the day of the festival, the excitement vanished. While she was there, things took a cruel turn. Around 8:30 a.m., Moran called her mother. She said she and her friends were being shot at. They were running to save themselves. That was the last time Moran's mother spoke to her. The next time her mother saw her, she was in a TikTok video. She was in captivity. She was kidnapped by Hamas.
It doesn't leave you. The fact that Moran is somewhere, we don't know what's going on with her. It doesn't sound good. We know that she was kidnapped.
Yeah, we know that she was kidnapped. She's being held.
It's frightening. To see his parents, that devastated. To see her parents is heartbreaking.
My parents are devastated from all this event. Me and my friends and family, we still holding on together. We still have faith that she's alive. We want her to come back home.
Supernova was like any other music festival. About 4,000 young people had gathered. They were dancing at dawn. But above their heads, black clouds were gathering. Perhaps an indication of what was to come. In the hours that followed, Hamas fired thousands of rockets into Israel, and armed terrorists stormed the festival, which quickly turned into a massacre. This became one of the first and worst hit zones. The slaughter was captured on camera. 260 people were killed at the festival and lost their lives. Not just that, when the festival became a war zone, many people were taken hostage, including Moran. And for her and about 140 others, the nightmare continues. One of the most harrowing videos to emerge is that of Noa Argamani. She was attending the festival, but during the attack, she was abducted by Hamas. She was seen being bundled onto the back of a motorcycle. She was crying and screaming, reaching out to her partner, but all he could do was watch. Both are still in captivity.
What can I say? My whole life since she was born, I have done my best to protect and to hug her and to support and love her. And now, in this difficult moment, to at least encourage her. I couldn't say anything to tell her something. Noah, cheer up. I saw her boyfriend crying. What difficult days. Difficult days.
The helplessness is pervasive and the grief is overwhelming. What do you do when your children, your loved ones, are taken away by terrorists? Parents of the abducted Israelis are desperate. They're pleading for information, much like Moran's family.
Time goes by, day by day, with no more information. We just we stop finding any more clues. We don't know what's happening. We're just hoping. We're just asking people to help. That's what we're doing with her. We want her back home.
And Yuri David, whose daughters were abducted by Hamas.
Talking to them on the phone, I told them, lay down with your face to the ground, with your faces one next to the other, Hold your hands together, don't even breathe, stop breathing. It was not easy. It was something like 30 minutes that I was with them on the phone, until I heard 4 breaths like that, and after that, she didn't answer me anymore. I'm asking for the whole world to see what I'm going through.
So far, of about 150 hostages, most are civilians. Hamas has threatened to execute them one by one and videotape the killings. Each time an Israeli airstrike hits Gazans in their homes, this cruelty is unprecedented, and it's become Israel's biggest dilemma.
It took also a while to Israel to know who is hostage and who is not. Most of the people that kidnapped, we know it through the social media. I mean, Hamas took videos of everything they did and they posted it. That's how us and all over Israel, we knew who is hostage and who is not, because we saw how they kidnapped us.
The country has not openly declared a plan to rescue the hostages yet, but it claims to have identified most of those abducted. It's begun notifying the families. The fate of the hostages is still unclear. In the meantime, Israeli families have created their own informal groups. They are publicizing details about their abducted relatives and asking for international help.
We really need international help. We really need international help in order to bring Moran home. We really need help in order to make it as important for the leaders as it is for us, because she's worth it.
These distraught families are living on a prayer and the hope that they will get to see their sons, daughters and siblings once again.
Now let's move from the second to the third possible front. That is the West Bank. The West Bank is home to Palestinians. It also includes half of the holy city of Jerusalem, the eastern half. The old city houses some of the most sacred sites for all Abrahamic religions. But one shrine is at the center of the conflict between the Jewish and Muslim people, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, known to the Jewish people as the Temple Mount. The Hamas attack on Saturday invoked the shrine's name. They call the attack the Al-Aqsa Flood. Today the compound is tense. Israeli security forces have been deployed all around it. Hamas asked for a demonstration here today. It is hoping for chaos. And Israel wants to nip this in the bud. We went to the old city earlier today. Our next report is from Ground Zero in Jerusalem.
Today is Friday, the most important day for Muslim prayers, and in Jerusalem lies one of the most important prayer sites, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. It lies in the heart of Jerusalem, one of the holiest cities for all Abrahamic faiths. A city that countless wars have been fought over, one that's no stranger to tension.
We're in East Jerusalem, overlooking the old city. It's a tense Friday here. I'm sure you can hear the announcements in the background. Hamas has made an appeal. It has urged Palestinians in the West Bank and other parts of the country to march up to the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound and clash with the Israeli forces. And on all roads leading up to the mosque, we've seen barricades at multiple places. We have seen protests and clashes in the West Bank in the past few days. More than 30 Palestinians are said to have been killed in the action. That is according to official reports that have come in. Behind me, what you see is the golden structure that you see is called the Dome of the Rock. This is an Islamic shrine. It is at the center of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, or what is called the Temple Mount by the Jews, Temple Mount. This is the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina, and the holiest site in Judaism. And this is also at the center of the wider Israel-Palestine conflict. Like I said, it's a tense Friday here, and the challenge before the Israeli authorities today will be to ensure that the conflict does not escalate in Jerusalem.
The Al-Aqsa compound is the third holiest site in Islam. It's said to be the spot where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. The compound contains the Golden Dome of the Rock, and the silver-domed Al-Aqsa Mosque itself. They are both located inside the 14-hectare compound. Muslims refer to the compound as Al-Haram Al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary. The site is sacred to the Jewish people as well. They believe the compound is where two ancient Jewish temples once stood. These temples were the heart of the Jewish religion, home to their high priest. The temple was razed to the ground in antiquity, the second time by the Romans in 70 BC. But the Temple Mount is still considered the central point of the Jewish religion. So you see why the compound is sacred to both the Muslim and the Jewish people. There is a tenuous agreement regarding the site. Neither the Israelis nor the Palestinians manage it. They have a third party as custodian, the neighboring country of Jordan. Jordan manages the site. As part of the agreement, only Muslim people are allowed to pray there. Most Jewish people pray beneath the site, at the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall. This is the status quo, and attempts to change it are considered provocations. Hamas and other groups point to such provocations to justify their attacks. They even called Saturday's attack Al-Aqsa flood. And today, Hamas wanted Palestinians to demonstrate at the compound. But Israel is not having it. It has ramped up security in Jerusalem. The police is patrolling every street. You see armed security officials at every checkpoint. The message is clear. Israel will not allow any trouble at Al-Aqsa today.
We are in the old city of Jerusalem at the Jaffa Gate, and on any other day, the area behind me is packed with people, with tourists, with the locals who are here, with shoppers. But today you can only see security officials armed to the teeth, and the few worshippers who are coming out after Friday prayer. So this is practically deserted, and that is the story of all of Jerusalem. It looks like a ghost town. As we drove up to this place, we saw only security officials and journalists along the way, and a lot of barricades. So it's a tense Friday afternoon for the people of Jerusalem. The Friday prayers just getting over, and security officials have been deployed here in large numbers to ensure that the situation remains under control in the wake of the call for protest that came from Hamas yesterday.
Some people have managed to pray within the compound. Others are finding it difficult to get inside because of all the security. They're praying outside the compound instead. Israel's precautions seem to have been necessary. There are reports of clashes outside the old city of Jerusalem. But things were largely kept under control today, as they had to be. The last thing Israel needs is another front opening up on the West Bank.